In 2008, the founders of Airbnb were facing a wall. They were carrying massive debt, had zero funding, and institutional investors were not returning their calls. To keep the company alive, they needed an immediate cash injection. They decided to pivot from room rentals to a temporary cereal business, buying bulk generic grains to sell during the presidential election. They designed custom packaging for a brand they called Obama O's, timing the release to capitalize on the national campaign momentum. To capture the other half of the market, they created a companion product, Cap'n McCain's. The stunt raised $30,000. That specific sum provided the financial runway the team needed to stay operational until they finally secured venture capital. For these founders, the lack of cash became the specific trigger for a creative marketing solution. The financial wall forced them to find a way to make their brand relevant to a national audience when they couldn't afford traditional ads. This strategy is a practical application of today's focus, Card 97, Overcoming Obstacles. It references the philosophy cited by Ryan Holiday, the obstacle in the path becomes the path, suggesting challenges are the primary tools for building internal strength. This is a diagram showing how a wing generates lift. An aircraft doesn't gain altitude by avoiding resistance. It creates lift by flying directly into a headwind. In a business context, resistance functions similarly. Instead of viewing a setback as a reason to stop, we can analyze that friction to see where it can be redirected to move a project forward. Open your notebook and select your highest priority business project. Now identify the single largest friction point currently preventing that project from moving to the next stage. Look at the reflection and preparation section on this chart. These prompts are designed to help you analyze your current struggles, to find hidden opportunities. Choose one prompt and make a tangible decision on how to utilize your current blocker. The goal is to move from observing the problem to actively using it. Pause the video here. Take 5 minutes to write down your strategy and isolate your next move. Writing this down shifts the blocker from a vague emotional frustration into a list of variables you can actually manage. A common reaction during this exercise is to assume the blocker is purely external, like a change in the market or a sudden shift in technology that is out of your control. When resources are restricted, you are forced to strip a project down to its essential function. This visualization shows how a constraint acts as a filter, removing unnecessary features and focusing your attention on the leanest, most efficient solution available. This contrasts with a project that has an abundance of funding, where it is easier to mask product flaws with heavy spending. A constraint forces you to fix the core problem because you don't have the cash to ignore it. An unchangeable external constraint can be a competitive advantage. It forces you to build a more efficient product because the alternative is no longer an option. By deconstructing the problem, you've started to move your response from a place of uncertainty to a position of strategic planning. At its core, business is the act of solving complex problems in exchange for capital. This diagram shows a market where a significant obstacle acts as a protective wall. Without these barriers to entry, a market would be flooded with generic competitors who could easily replicate your model. Your ability to extract value from these specific blockers is what makes your business defensible. To conclude, consider this. If your biggest competitor was handed your exact same obstacle today, how would you expect them to fail? Identifying where others would likely stumble gives you the blueprint for where you need to succeed. Solving the problem they cannot is the most direct way to secure your position in the market.